Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Fair Chase podcast. Before we start this episode, we're going to again take a little time to thank a little bit of the people who help make this show possible.
First up is 2O Gear. It's a new brand that we just started partnering with. They make awesome high-end technical hunting clothes, camo. And so they're based in Michigan, and new company. We've tested them for months. I tested them in the whitetail season last year.
Great merino base layers.
Yep, great
awesome
merino
shells.
base.
Awesome new pattern.
A great system for going out west, but we'll use it a ton in the whitetail woods too. So really excited to work with them. 2ogear.com. Go check them out. Next up is Worldwide Trophy Adventures. It's an awesome, basically, connection to outfitters all over the world. So as a lot of people know, good hunting ground is really hard to come by. And oftentimes the best way to ensure that you're going to get in a good spot, or maybe you need to legally have a guide, is to go through an outfitter.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as you might know if you've heard us before, we've had good experiences and bad experiences with outfitters. Which means, in order to ensure you're going to have a good experience, you have to do a ton of research, you have to talk to people, it's just a lot of messing around. Worldwide Trophy Adventures, or WTA, does a lot of this work for you at no charge. So by booking your trip through WTA, you can rest assured that you'll be in a good location with a reputable outfitter that they've certified and endorsed. If you're looking to book a trip of a lifetime like I am, just headed to a moose hunt here through WTA, you're going to want to check them out. Go give them a call. Actually, I have the number right here. It's 1-800-346-8747, or check out their website at worldwidetrophyadventures.com.
All right, so we love Trophy Line. They offer more than just saddles. Believe it or not, they have their own climbing sticks. They've got platforms. They've got a ton of extra
packs.
gear. They've got packs. They've got everything.
Knee pads.
Everything that you're going to need to be a saddle hunter, they have it. So if you want to start saddle hunting this year and get into the game like everyone else and really love hunting even more, go to Trophy Line, check it out, use the code TFC10 to save yourself 10% on that purchase.
We're big bow hunters. Sights, quivers, stabilizers, those kind of things are really important if you're going to have a deadly setup. And so we've tried a lot of different companies in the industry, and we've kind of figured out that we really like Redline gear the best. So we are shooting their torch sights this year.
It's a really cool sight. There's a lot of good micro adjustments you can make. You can customize a lot of the stuff on there. Really make it your own.
The chargeable USB rechargeable light is
really
sweet.
Cool.
And so we're huge fans of their stuff. We use them all the time. It's worth going to check them out. Check out Redline. Use the promo code TFC10 for 10% off your purchase, and let us know what you think. We love them. All right. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Fair Chase podcast. Before we jump into our guest and kind of what she's up to, I want to start with just reminding you of a pretty cool program Christensen Arms has going on right now. Basically, if you haven't heard the ads that we've been running, the things on Instagram and so on, it's you buy a rifle, which is great. They make fantastic rifles. They're the kind of the creators of the first carbon fiber barrel back in 1995. But now if you go buy yourself one of their fine pieces of equipment, you get $750 worth of kind of like a gift card for gear from their store. So now through October 31st, whenever you buy this rifle, you get that gift card. You can use it to buy things like Loophole, Mystery Ranch, Half-Face Blades, Uncharted Supply Company, and more. So if you're interested in this, go to christensenarms.com. You can learn more and take advantage of this incredible offer. All right. Got that out of the way. Feeling pretty good. Thanks for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
You want to introduce yourself and who you are and what you do, and we'll kind of jump into some things?
Yeah, sure. And we made contact over social media through my Instagram account, The Hunting Psychologist. But my name is Beatrice. I'm a huntress and a psychologist based in Sweden. 33 years old, living with my husband and 2 hunting dogs just north of Stockholm.
Yeah. What kind of dogs do you have?
Kleine Münsterländer. So it's a pointing dog, but we also use them in river hunting in Sweden. Yeah.
You take them everywhere. It's fun to see the videos and stuff you're posting of them, and they seem like great dogs.
Yeah.
So 2 glaring things about you that people probably pay attention to. First, you're from Sweden, and we're the people that listen to this podcast generally are Americans. Though we'll see you can see kind of where people are listening to your podcast, and occasionally you get like interesting places checking in, but for the most part, American. So you're from Sweden. That's one. The second is a psychologist, and
Yes.
you seem to tie that very closely to hunting. So I'm going to start there because I'm very interested by it. Tell me about what's your, a psychologist, do you practice, or what's your career look like? And then we'll jump into how it ties into hunting in a minute.
Yeah, well, I'm a clinical psychologist, just a regular one, not specialist in any kind. But I do diagnosing. So that's like my focus area. I've done some treatment, in the past, but I found diagnostics the most interesting thing. So that's what I do. A lot of, neurodevelopment disorders, personality disorders.
Yeah, adults or children or
adults.
Mix? Okay.
Nope, only adults. Yeah.
I would think children are their own kind of category, and that's probably a very specialized.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Interesting. So, how long have you been practicing?
For a couple of years now. I finished my studies in 2020, just Corona years, and then I got my license in 21. So 2 years as a licensed psychologist now.
Wow. So, have you seen an interesting type of patient pop up in like the wake of the COVID stuff, or is it kind of what you expected?
I wouldn't describe it as anything new. But a lot of people, in my opinion, I don't have the research on this, but I feel a lot of people relapsed during the COVID years. So relapsed in, addiction or in depression or in, we did see a lot of abuse victims rising as well during the lockdowns. Even though Sweden was one of the countries that didn't lock down as much as the rest of the world, but
is that separation from the broader community that probably brought that on, or do you have any?
It could be, yeah. Separation from the community, and also just being really confined space. If you already have that type of problem, and then you spend 24 hours with.
Heavy stuff. I would imagine a lot of heavy stuff in your daily life. Is that true?
Yeah, sure. That's part of my job. I sit with a lot of patients and tough conversations about people in distress. That's one part of my job. Yeah.
Well, you're amazingly important. I've actually gone through some very similar things with people here in the U.S. myself, and some family members of mine have as well. So the things that you do are incredibly important, and thank you for that. Now,
thank you.
Tying that to hunting, what? Tell me about the ties that you see between the psychology and hunting. How do they go together?
Yeah, well, a lot of people ask me. Or they say they don't see the mix or how they fit together. They almost see it as if they're, contradicting each other in some way. And I don't see it as that at all. To me, hunting is kind of like the contrast I've been searching for in terms of finding that work-life balance, really. So I find my line of work really rewarding as a clinical psychologist, of course. But, it leaves me, with a feeling of never getting done. The lines always fill up and the workload constantly fills up. And I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling. It's not just my line of work. But this kind of leaves me longing for practical activities where I can see a result, or where I can, do something and get a result from it.
It's interesting.
I kind of need hunting to keep me grounded at work,
Sure. Yeah, it's you're dealing with long-term things, and I have the same thing in my day job. It's things you don't often see. Kind of come to fruition, or they see the immediate impact of what you're doing, or it's not even so practical in terms of like hands-on stuff. So to have hunting where you're in it, you're among
Yeah,
it. You know, it's
yeah,
very hands on. You can touch and feel it, and you come away with
yeah,
maybe meat or something. And it's a very different contrast, but a really important one. I found the same thing to be true.
yeah, yeah. So after a day, I normally I use up a lot of mental and emotional energy. That's the thing, and a lot of people do, I'm sure. And for me, the best ways, I found to rest those abilities or to regain them is, to be out in nature, to, for me, hunt, but also to be physically active. And to complete a task. That's what I need to do to keep me grounded at work. And also hunting, in a way, it blocks out everything else. You have to be mindful or really present when you hunt. So people practice, mindfulness, but to me, hunting kind of does that for me. So I don't have to practice it.
I
in
love
the
that you
same
say
way.
that.
Yeah.
That's something I struggle with.
Yeah.
Just being present, anyways. I mean,
Yeah.
with social media and work, I work from home, and
Yeah.
all these things. My mind is always plan mode. Or maybe I'm on like a virtual call and I'm virtually with somebody. It's hard for me to step back and be exactly where I am and notice things in front of me, and that the
Yeah.
presence of mind is so hard. But you're right. When you're hunting, I have it sometimes where I'll be like, oh man, I'm aware finally of how present I've been for such a long period of time. You're
Yeah.
playing the wind, you're listening to certain noises, you're trying to be quiet, you're thinking
Yeah.
about all these things that are happening right now that just
Yeah.
brings your mind like a laser right to where you are. And there's very
Yeah.
few things. My wife, does yoga, for example, and I think
Yeah.
that has a very similar kind of impact on her. But hunting for sure for me as well just brings me
Yeah.
right to where I am.
All right, we're going to take a pause here real quick and just thank a few more guys and companies that help make this show possible. First up is Vortex. We can't say it enough. We love their glass. We love their binoculars, spotting scopes, rangefinders, their apparel. James is rocking a nice little hoodie here. They make awesome stuff. And if you guys are looking to make a purchase at Vortex, go over to their website and use the code TFC20 to save yourself 20% on the next purchase. That's a big, good discount. Use it. Head over there and get something.
A bow makes a man.
Does
and
it?
Yeah, that's what I was told. And we're big fans of prime bows. Shooting it for years, Michigan-based company. We're shooting their latest Revix series of bows. Mine's that 36 long boy.
I'll generally take a few shots right back here and just.
Yeah, we're huge fans. Smooth, great balance. They're just go check them out. There's tons of technology. One of my favorite things that they have is their grip. Space age technology keeps your hand warm even when it's cold. Highly recommend. Go check out Prime Archery. Finally, Lathrop and Sons boots. Your feet kill animals. Like the more you walk, the more chances you have at getting that big buck, that big elk, moose, whatever it is. Lathrop and Sons have been kind of our go-to boot of choice for a while now. We've put in a lot of miles, taken them all over the place. There's no leaking. It's comfortable. Stephen and James there they're like foot scientists.
They're geniuses. I got messed up feet, and they basically will, you take an imprint of your foot. They'll look at it, look at your arch, how wide it is, how narrow, how long, and they literally build the boot around your foot. So you're not going to a box store and picking up something that you hope is going to fit your boot. These things actually are tailor-made to your foot. So they're super comfortable. Mine, I could walk all day in them. So if you're looking to get a boot, if you're looking for a boot that's made for you and not somebody else, go check out Lathrop and Sons.
So, I never think about my work when I hunt. I don't think about my mortgage.
Yeah.
It's not, I think where should I take my next step? Not to step on something that makes a sound. That's the kind of presence. Yeah.
I love that. So Sweden, what's hunting like? Tell me about the culture of hunting in Sweden.
Yeah, we hunt a lot with dogs. That's like the main type of hunting here. And I've quite recently discovered that that's not, the case in most countries.
Yeah.
So a lot of hunting with dogs, different kind of hunting forms, of course, pointing dogs and dogs flushing out deer and boar and elk. We have the the Spitz kind of dogs that find elk and make them stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, it's kind of mandatory in Sweden to hunt with a dog. You're not allowed to hunt if you don't have access to a dog.
Really?
Yeah, well, you don't have to hunt with a dog, but you have to be able to call, a search team with a dog if something happens. So every kind of hunting, you is some way you need a dog.
I like that. It's so funny. The kind of the blood tracking dog idea is somewhat new for us, and for a while there were laws against it, which is wild to me because last year I had a suboptimal hit on a whitetail deer, a buck I shot, and had blood dried. And without a dog, I would have been lost. Now I didn't find it anyways, but the dog got me way farther. We found blood again, and it's like you owe it to the animal to do that. And it's kind of wild to me that's been kind of something that we've pushed against here for a while. The other thing I noticed, why? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the fear is that we would use dogs to basically drive game for us. And that's, apparently has been seen as not fair chase, which is interesting because, certain animals you can use dogs for, for us birds, for example, pig hunting and especially like bear hunting you can do, I've done one a couple years ago in West Virginia with dogs, and it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal experience. And you rarely get for bear, basically what they bay a bear, tree it, and you can go and check out the bear and see, is it the right size? Is it the right one to take out? You can walk away if it's not. And so I was kind of stunned after doing it about the bad rap that it got. And a lot of listeners may have something to say about this, which is fine. But it gives you this unique ability to judge a bear very close and make sure you're taking the right one, which is not easy to do with bears anyways.
No. But then you get to make that informed decision.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I noticed that about you guys. Dogs is one, and suppressors on the ends of your rifles is different. Is that a fairly easy process to get one in Sweden?
Yeah, and quite recently they made it even easier. So now you don't need a license for a suppressor. Usually before you needed to apply to the police to buy a suppressor. But not anymore.
It's not as easy. I mean, it's becoming a little easier. There are a lot of states it's not allowed for us, and
at all. Oh,
yeah, which is a bummer because right now, so I just got back from a moose hunt, and my first shot, I had my ear protection on, drops it. So it was really close. This is just a huge animal. So in kind of the moment, I'm kind of frazzled. I take off my ear protection, just kind of and of course he stands back up. So I got to take another shot. Well, my ears, I'm shooting a 300 Win Mag. And so it with a muzzle brake on the end. So it shoots the sound out.
Yeah.
And so my ears, I had to go to a doctor yesterday about it, but this is the third time I've had a rifle really mess with my ears. And this last one's been pretty rough. So it's just, again, it's one of those things that I don't understand sometimes there are laws I don't agree with, but I can understand the rationale behind it. Suppressors and using dogs for recovering game. Those are two that I cannot understand.
No. Well, most people use suppressors here in Sweden, I think, and also hunting close to dogs. We also want to protect the dog's hearing.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, because
it's kind of like a generation thing in Sweden. We have a lot of older hunters that don't hear so well. So
they good case studies and what not to do. You guys, I would imagine. So hunter safety, or getting your hunting license. There's probably, is there a marksmanship component to that for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both for a shotgun and also for a rifle.
Yeah.
And then also you do. It's not mandatory by law, but most hunting teams also take a test each year to make sure you don't just do it, one time in your life, but you have to do it each year to show that you've been to the range.
Yeah,
regularly.
That's interesting. Yeah. A lot of moving shots, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Working on, very different than from here. We don't do a whole lot of that unless it's like waterfowl or small game.
Oh yeah. Well, it depends on, the type of hunting, because we hunt a lot with dogs, and, the animals are going to move. So you have to be able to take those shots as well. Yeah.
So how long have you been hunting? How long have you been into this?
Well, I found hunting later in life, so I don't have, it doesn't come from my family. So I've hunted for, I think it is 5 years now that I had my license. Started 1 year before. I actually got, a hunting dog first, and then I got my license. So, no, but 5 years active as a hunter. And I started with grouse hunting, actually, up in the Swedish mountains in the north, because I lived there at the time. I studied there. So, but then, worked my way down to Stockholm, and also to bigger game, together with the dogs, really. We found hunting together. What he showed me.
Yeah, like that. What kind of grouse were you hunting up there?
I'm not sure how to call it in English.
What do you call it in Swedish?
Ripa. And we have fjällripa and danripa, but do you want me to Google it?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Grouse. Yeah. It looks like Western Eurasian. It's like a wood grouse. I don't know. Yeah, it's a very different looking grouse. I asked because I just got back from British Columbia, and we definitely ate our fair share of grouse as camp meals that we'd see on the way back from a hunt. You pop a grouse, and it's like eating chicken. It's sweet deal. I learned, I didn't know this, but to breast it well, the guides there had us stand on the wings, and you just pull kind of gently up on the feet. You kind of set it down, and it pulls just perfectly out, and you have like nice clean breasts. Like, it's sweet.
Wow. Did you film it?
I didn't film it. I'll see if I can find something online. I'll send it to you.
Please do. I want to learn that. Because I sit there with the feathers and everything, and it's everywhere. Yeah,
that's exactly. I'm like, man. So we shot him. I'm like, this is gonna be a pain. We gotta pluck these things or try to cut it and get it to mess. He's like, oh no, you just. And he said different birds are different. So it depends on, I think, the strength of the connective tissues or something. But basically, you kind of like. You put it upside down, so the legs, you're grabbing the legs, and its wings are kind of spread out. And you just step on them, and you just slowly, gently pull up. And I would love if that worked. I do a lot of turkey hunting here in the U.S., and I don't know that would work for turkey hunting, but it would be sweet if it did, because that can be a pain sometimes to breast them out.
Sounds amazing. Yeah, I'm actually going grouse hunting next week, so if I get one,
I'm looking for a message from you to see if you can try it, if you tried it out. So you don't come from a hunting background, really, but I mean, it sounds like you found it in school. Were you kind of, when you were doing your studies up north, and that's how that happened, or?
Exactly. The school chose me. I didn't choose, the location. It's where I got accepted. But I'm really happy, because otherwise I don't think I would have found hunting. I'm brought up in Stockholm, not in central Stockholm, but close to Stockholm. And I didn't have anyone, close to me who hunted. But, up north, it's much more present in the community, the hunting community. And also, I as a psychologist up there, also as a student, I met a lot of people who actively hunted, and that it's a thing. I also have to ask everyone if they own a gun. If I make if I ask about suicide, I also have to ask if they own a gun, and most people do. So it's so much more present than it is in where I was brought up. Yeah, but I found it there. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said you're married. You've got a husband. Does he hunt?
Yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah.
And he was actually brought up with it.
Okay.
Well, kind of, yes. He got me into getting a dog, and then I was not turning back.
You get a hunting dog, you got to go hunting. It's your hands are tied.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, what's it like? I asked this because I've got a daughter myself, my wife, and I have a daughter. and I think about hunting and like being kind of a female hunter.
Yeah.
And that's not the most uncommon thing in the U.S., but it's also not, like there's far more men that hunt
Yeah.
by us. What's it like for you being a female hunter? And I would assume more of a male-dominated sport in Sweden as well.
Well, so far it is, but we actually have a lot of new hunters who are women. So I think they made some polls somewhere where I think it was 30% who, in a course, taking a course to become a hunter. So
wow,
I can't swear on those numbers, but it's getting a lot more common here. Can't quite see it yet. When I go out hunting, it's not unusual to be the only woman sometimes.
Sure.
But also, people don't see me as a woman really, or a female huntress. They don't make a thing of it.
Just a hunter.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about hunting. I love that.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned you deer, elk, and other types of game. Like, what's your go-to hunt? Like, if you had to choose, like, what you could go hunt, what would it be?
It's a hard question, because I favor a lot of different types of hunting, and also, in different times of the year.
Sure.
But right now we're closing into, the 1st of October, where we get to hunt all over Sweden with dogs.
Yeah.
So, just a regular driven hunt, mid-Sweden.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's deer or boar. That's not the thing, For me, it's to see the dog working.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing what dogs can do, and it's like once they turn it on. Like I've got a dog. I actually have. He's usually behind me. That's why I have the blanket out. But he's in his kennel right now. But he is like the biggest baby. He's like snuggly, but when I get him out for whatever reason, squirrels. Like he's a squirrel hunting dog, and he's like instantly different, and like he's like an animal, like he's a beast out there,
Yeah.
And so
I love
it's just,
that switch.
Yeah, it's just like all of a sudden you went from this like lovable house pet that's kind of a sissy to like this tough, dog. How does that happen?
That's amazing.
It's fun to watch. It's really cool. And, October 1 for us is also kind of an important day. It's for us when we start our archery season here in Michigan. So for deer hunting with bow and arrow. And so that's our kind of bread and butter, our group. And so, I mean, that's like a holiday. Like you take everything off, you clear your schedule October 1 and you hit the woods. So looking forward.
So do you have a lot of people you don't go to work or that's
yeah. So what's really interesting in Michigan, of all the states in the U.S., one of the more rich heritages of hunting can be found in Michigan. And so there's October 1 is the beginning of archery season, but November 15 is opening day for rifle for deer. And so deer hunting with rifle in Michigan is, when I was growing up, you'd have school off, everybody's got, it's like, if you think of like that clad hunter, a guy in red plaid out and, with a rifle out in the woods, that's a Michigan, like very ingrained in our culture and our history. It's less so now. It's definitely fading from what it was, which is just disappointing. But it's definitely still strong in some pockets, and it's fun to be a part of.
Yeah. That's kind of what I met when I moved up north, because it's still really strong, that type of community around the hunting up there. And I never saw that, growing up in a big city.
Yeah, it seems totally foreign to people in cities. When I had a friend in New Jersey, and I was telling her, I was like, we grab our bow and we climb up in our tree stand and, we wait for, she's like, what, you climb in a tree to hunt a deer? I'm like, yeah, of course I climb in a tree, and she's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, you have these little sticks you attach to a tree, you climb up, you get bundled up, you don't move for a while, and it's just totally foreign. She's like, well, when you're done, what do you do? Like, who takes care of the deer? I'm like, well, I take care of it. Like, who else would? No one walks out and takes care of it. Like, I got to drag it in, I got to cut it up, and you got to do everything. It's just a very
advice, to bring a caddy or something. So.
Yeah, I need a hunting caddy. I need one of those. Actually, that's a great service. Your hunting caddy. He'll go out, drag your meat in, he'll cut it up for you.
Place it in the freezer.
That's right. Yeah, and take care of it in little packages. So it's just like, I'm in the middle of doing that right now with the moose we shot here in British
Yeah,
Columbia.
I saw a picture of that. That's a lot of
It
meat.
was a lot of meat. Like I'm on. This will be my third. I've done probably about 6 hours so far of
Yeah,
butchering, and I probably have another 6 hours left. So today, in a few hours, once I kind of am done with work for the day, the rest of the day will be for butchering, grinding, vacuum sealing, and doing the rest. So I've got like quite a bit of that ahead of me yet.
Yeah. Do you have like the best part of the animal?
I agree. I like to do it. It's so fun. It's very relaxing. I put a little music on, go in the garage, and take care of business.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite part of the animal to eat?
Well, I mean, everybody likes the tenderloins, right? Those are great. But I'm a big fan of the heart. I really like the heart. Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know if you saw on social media, but the heart of a moose is like it's like bigger than my head. It's huge. Which is like so I cut it up into like 4 slices for steaks that will do. So I like the heart. The back straps are great, like the loins. And what about you? What's your thing?
Well, yeah, backstraps and heart as well, actually. And I also like heart. I cook heart from grouse, from smaller deer.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a tradition also, for the hunter to have the heart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So usually I take it with me, and if it's not too late, I fry it up the same evening. So I just do this, heated pan, and I do some small pieces, and I fry it and eat from the pan.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Maybe not a moose heart. That's really big. That's a lot.
That will take a few sittings, but my daughter grew up around it, so that's her by far favorite part. And so although right before this recording, I was actually at an emergency dental appointment for her. I don't think she's going to be eating any moose heart anytime soon. She was playing tennis with her cousins, caught a tennis racket to the face, and she's like without her front teeth right now. So she a lot of I'll be blending it up or something for her instead because it was pitiful. So
I hope she's getting better.
Yeah. So
then you're gonna do you do a lot of bow hunting.
Yeah, love the archery. Yeah,
that's one difference. That's not allowed even in Sweden. We're not allowed to hunt with bows.
Yeah, I knew I had a friend in Germany, and he mentioned difficulty even with archery all throughout Europe. That's too bad. Archery is so fun.
Yeah, some countries do it. Denmark do it, and I think I'm not sure Finland, but the island Åland also does it, but not in Sweden. You're allowed to practice with a bow, here on ranges, but you're not allowed to hunt.
Interesting. Do you travel much outside of Sweden to hunt, or do you stick kind of to your homeland?
I stay in Sweden. I'm not. I haven't discovered Sweden yet.
That's fair.
Every type of hunting,
There's a lot. It's a whole country,
Yeah.
I did see you do some like off the grid living. Like I think I saw one of your posts was like 14 days off the grid. You didn't bring food. Like why would you? What's the deal behind that?
Yeah, well, kind of like a way to discover, because I wasn't brought up with hunting, so I don't have that heritage, with me. So that's kind of one reason why I started my Instagram account. I wanted to expose myself to different types of hunting, and also when I went off grid, that was kind of to experience hunting not as a recreational kind of hunting, but more what our ancestors probably felt about hunting, when we had to hunt to have food.
Yeah.
So I went off grid, and I didn't take any food. I brought a shotgun and also a fishing rod.
Okay. How'd it go?
I'm here today, so I survived.
Yeah.
I think I would make it, or most people would make it longer than they think. But I did not cover the calories, that I needed.
You lose some weight there, yeah.
Yeah, I lost a lot of weight, but also Maybe I think I calculated it, and I also, gathered berries and mushrooms, and actually found an apple tree.
Oh, that's sweet.
I wasn't that off-grid, just on my hunting ground, but I think it was like 300 calories a day, something like that. But some days I ate more, and some days I didn't have anything. So I can't recommend it for weight loss, because it really made my metabolic system really weird for a long time afterwards. So
yeah, I get that a lot. When we do like a lot of the backcountry stuff, I had the hardest time packing well. I have a lot of food allergies, so like the typical like backcountry meals are just out. I can't have like the gluten or the dairy or whatever in there. And so often I would just go real light. And like you said, I would come back and I would be gaunt. My face is sunken in and I'm tired.
And that goes really quickly, the kind of hollowed face.
Yeah. I remember one time I came back from a bear hunt. My wife's like, she like drove up and I was out in the yard. She's like, you look like a different person standing out here. It's like, well, I probably should get better at packing calories, because like my metabolism's fast anyways, and when you're out there and you're moving and you're hauling stuff and everything, the thing about hunting in the mountains is like you see videos of it and it looks like people are just kind of like walking around, but it's like everything's heavy after a while. Yeah,
in the mountains.
That's right. It's like
it's
no
really
big deal. It's like hard to go uphill, and that backpack looks light, but like 20 pounds or 30 pounds gets heavy after a while. You're burning calories, especially when you're really hungry. And then what I'll do is like I'll get back to civilization and I'll eat like you wouldn't believe. Like I just can't get enough food in me. It's like then I go from like gaunt to like my distended stomach because I'm so full of whatever's in front of me.
You compensate in between, but I had a friend tell me, when you pack your fears, but you actually do it the other way around. you leave stuff at home, because I'm really afraid of getting cold of my hands, so I always pack insane amount of gloves.
You can't have cold hands. That's the worst, when your hands are freezing cold out there. You can't move. You can't do the things you need to do. I can understand it. It's understandable fear. Well, you've been doing really cool stuff. It's been I had somebody, the way I got in touch with you is somebody mentioned you to me. A listener, I don't remember who it was, and he's like, "Hey, she's kind of cool. Like, you guys should have her on the show. She's doing stuff that's very unique to what we typically see on social media, because it's American focused." And we've had a few folks from overseas, somebody in New Zealand and Australia and
cool.
and Germany, but no one out of Sweden yet. So kind of got in touch with you, and I just appreciate you taking a few minutes just to give me a little insight into what it is like being a hunter in Sweden, and the psychology part of it, which is fascinating.
Yeah, and I'm glad you like it. Yeah.
Well, we're coming up on time here, so for people who are listening and want to just follow along, see what you're all about, see what you're up to, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram. The Hunting Psychologist is the name. And that's pretty much it right now. I don't have a YouTube. I don't have any other social media. I do this on my spare time, but moving forward, I'd also like to focus more on. So far, I've focused a lot of trying to understand hunting from my psychologist point of view. But moving forward, I would also like to focus on how hunting could benefit mental health, and also in what way could I raise awareness of mental health within the hunting community. So I don't have anything set yet, but I would love to hear your opinion. Do you have any initiatives in the States, or?
My personal non-professional opinion is good. I think it's good for your mental health. I've seen it play out in my life, and I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why, but I definitely feel the benefits of, beyond just being outside, but like you said, the presence and things like that. It's a huge part for me of kind of my mental health. It really does revolve around hunting. So it's all my friends do it. It's community. It is. It's a lot of good stuff.
Social component as well. It's not just
which is not talked about enough. Like the hunting camp is. It's strong. There's a lot of strong hunting camps, in states like Michigan or Pennsylvania or Wisconsin here, and it's where I, as a boy, learned what it meant to be a man. I say that a lot. You get to be around people who are older, see how they talk and treat each other and interact. And for me, that was a pretty powerful thing. So, well, like I said, I appreciate you coming on. You give her a follow. Like I said, it's very, very interesting stuff, and the psychology portion of it is really interesting. And we got to get you out to North America. I mean, Sweden's great, but you have to come. You've never chased a white-tailed deer or a turkey or something, an elk. You gotta try these things. And so come west, and we'll hook you up with a good spot, and we'll take you out sometime.
Oh, I'd love that. I've actually never shot a moose, even though I'm living in Sweden.
I was gonna say you have moose.
We have a lot of moose, yes, but I've never shot one, not yet. Hoping this is my year, but we've had a moose on decline for a long time, so we don't have a lot of opportunities.
Okay, well, everybody keep an eye out. See if she gets a moose this year. We're all rooting for you.
Oh.
Cool. Thanks. We'll see everybody. Thanks for listening in. Appreciate you taking the time. Like I said, go follow Beatrice and all the things she's up to. Check us out next week. We'll have some really cool episodes coming up as we kind of get really close to deer season here in Michigan. Like we were talking about, October 1's coming on fast. So thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon.